can have whatever you like with a great credit score. Good afternoon. It's Monday. It's 12 o'clock. It's the New Orleans Talk Network, and it's you and your credit. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. Uh, Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. Thank you for joining me on Instagram, Twitter. If you can see this show, if you're watching this show, you're about to get some valuable information. Oftentimes, we try to make sure that the information we give is sustainable, that it's correct, that you can Google it, you can verify it, you can look it over, make sure it's apply if it applies to you. If it doesn't apply to you, you can always call me, or you can go to my website, youandyourcredit.us or youandyourcredit.com, and you can send me a request for information. It's that time of year, man. It's the time of year where we're almost into hurricane season, which is well, I think we're in hurricane season, which is a terrible time of year for people in New Orleans. Also, people are thinking about or trying to buy homes. So I would like to, I'm considering giving another seminar. This time it's going to be a full free seminar. We're going to give a seminar first, and then maybe if you're interested, we'll do a workshop if you need additional information. But we're thinking about it now. In order for us to be sure that you get the information you need in the New Orleans area, go to youandyourcredit.com and register or send me a request for information, and that information will come directly to me. It'll be emailed to me, and I'll contact you when it's getting close to registration date and make sure that you're aware that you can get the free information that'll help you be able to buy a home. Uh, this is the time of year when people are considering that buying homes, the home purchases. I had a phone call earlier today from a lady that I've been counseling with for the last 4 to 6 weeks, and she said, "Mr. Remus, what do you think? My credit score is a 700. I think she said 701, 711, something like that. I knew it was a one in there, and I was driving. So I get these phone calls, and I try to be as available as possible. So I never stop what I'm doing. I mean, I never stop. Like if I'm in going someplace, I'll take the call, and I'll try to put as much uh, emphasis on the call as reasonably possible without creating an accident. Well, anyway, so in my conversation with her, she told me that she had a 700 plus beacon score. What did I think? I said, that's a great score. I said, you could probably get approved for the house that you're trying to purchase at this time. It's a great idea to know what your credit score is. Now, the page that I have in front of me right now is a copy of my TransUnion credit report, which was sent to me just a couple of days ago. I'm one of those guys, I'm kind of anal about this. As a matter of fact, it says 712 that it was mailed out from TransUnion. I'm one of those guys that like to take a look at my credit report as often as possible. I like to monitor it because I realize that things happen. I have LifeLock, but people do try to use your credit to make purchases. People try to steal your information. There's so much opportunity for fraud and abuse that you really need to be in a situation where you're protecting yourself. Now, if you have a good credit score and you want to, you value it, then why wouldn't you have LifeLock? It's only $100 a year. You can enroll for it on my website, youandyourcredit.com or youandyourcredit.us, and it'll keep people from stealing your identity. It's a major problem in today's world. People will steal your identity. It's happened. It happened to a good friend of mine just 2 weeks ago, he says, man, he says, I was at the gas station and I had about, and this is a close friend, so I happen to know that he has several accounts. Most people who are conscious of their finances will have at least one or two checking accounts, a savings account, money market, that kind of thing, to make sure that they don't have, if you have a checking account, most checking accounts give horrible interest. So if you got a little money to put in the bank to save, you might want to have a money market account, and you might want to have some bonds, stocks or bonds or whatever. You want to have all this stuff listed. That's why you need LifeLock, to make sure that if you have assets, that nobody can take them. People will try to penetrate your walls of defense, but you got to have an electronic scorecard. So I don't think I spend as much time on the show talking to people about protecting themselves. So as a result, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything today. But one of our major thoughts for the day is if you got a good credit score, and I happen to know quite a number of people that have good credit scores now, guys, you need to go to the website, spend $100, make sure nobody steals your credit. As I said earlier, my good friend, he told me, he says, man, he says, in this particular account, he had about $6,700. After he left the gas station later that day, a few days, within the next 24 hours, his money was gone. Now, of course, because he's a smart guy and he monitors his finances pretty much, he was able to find out that this had happened, went to his bank, and his bank was able to, to restore his money. And as a result, he didn't take the loss. But that's not really the issue. The issue is that an attempt was made on his finances, even though you think that you're not the guy. Nobody's gonna do anything to hurt you. Yo, I got news for you. You're exactly the person that people steal from. We got to be very cautious of what's going on in our lives. But anyway, I was telling you about the TransUnion report. Now, I'm going to get every 60 to 90 days, I get a copy of my credit report sent to me. Every 60 to 90 days, I get a copy. I publish a show. I'm telling people about credit restoration. I can't drop the ball on this, so I have to be attentive. Now, I will tell you that uh, there was, I found that there was one item on my credit report that I didn't know was there. Wow. And it's an old item, so, it just came out of the blue. But it's something that people, and I was talking to this same lady, and she says, well, Cox Cable was on my credit report for 200 and some dollars. You got to realize Cox Cable, the electrical companies, and the cable companies, these guys will come out of the blue. They will catch you by surprise just when you think they've gone, that you've resolved their issue. They're losing business because a lot of people are going to other types of television media. You got all different types of ways to watch TV in your household now. You don't have to use Cox. So as a result, that means that their number of people that are using their services have reduced. So they'll go out and do a lot of research and try to find anybody they can to try to collect old debts from. Uh, but I will tell you this: if that debt's over 3 years old, there's a statute of limitation in the state of Louisiana, and you might want to find out what the statute of limitation is in your state, and for debt, to make sure that you can't be sued or garnished you by debt collectors. I also had a conversation with a friend last week who told me that someone tried to file a lawsuit against him from a debt that was 6 years, 5 or 6 years old. Now you're gonna find that a lot of information is being changed under uh, the new Congress, the new Senate with the new president. Here's a guy who filed bankruptcy 5 times, but so anything goes. You know, there are going to be changes in these laws. That's one of the reasons why we have to really uh, be thoughtful uh, about the elections, about who we elect as president, who we elect as Congress, we elect for senators in our state and local races, because I will say that under the Obama administration, there were a lot of protections that were included in policy through the Senate that were written in as legislation that uh, protected people, and those that you hear him often say, especially Donald Trump, saying that he's taking off the regulations. Well, by taking off those regulations, it puts you at risk. And that's one of the things that most people, when they hear this information, they're not considering the fact of how this is going to affect them. What is it that these regulations, how are these regulations uh, that are enacted by Congress actually having an effect on me? Think about it. There was a pipeline recently that Obama fought for 8 years to keep the pipeline from going through. But then, as soon as President Trump became,
Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on the Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
this is Remus Bowman. I want to invite you every Monday at 12 o'clock live for you and your credit. You can call in, you can ask me questions. Believe me, I've got most of the answers for you. We're going to help you get a good credit score. We're going to open doors for you to have an opportunity to be successful and pay low interest for your automobile, your home, your credit cards, everything that you buy. We're going to put you on a great path to have a successful future. Send me your request for information. I'll be glad to answer your question. Every Monday at 12 o'clock, join me from 12 to 1 Monday afternoon for you and your credit, originating from New Orleans Talk Network.
You can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah, baby, you can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like.
You can have whatever you like with a great credit score. A good credit score is 650 or better. A great credit score is 700 or better. 600 is a fair score. Anything under 601 is a poor score. Now, let me just say this. We have this app, it's called Smart Credit. On Smart Credit, on the Smart Credit app on youandyourcredit.com, you can get a copy of your actual credit reports from all three credit bureaus. So you also get LifeLock as a part of the Smart Credit app. So what happens is that not only can you protect yourself by using the Smart Credit app, you can also look at know what your actual credit scores are as often as you like to. It's a small, inexpensive fee. You can also file against derogatory information through Smart Credit. So it's a great product to have whenever you're trying to protect yourself. I tell all my friends, now if you go into our credit restoration program, then you get an option to do the smart credit free of charge. You also get LifeLock is a part of the credit restoration program. So all these benefits and features comes as a part of you're spending your $89 a month. Now, most people and a lot of people I talk to, I realize that most of my clients are not aware that this product has several components. You're not paying just to get your credit, get the negative things off your credit. There's other things on this application that you can use every day or anytime you want to. You'll get LifeLock to keep people from stealing your credit. You'll get Smart Credit. You can call the company and speak with the credit counselors. It's a great product. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a pitch man for it. I wouldn't be suggesting to people to go to my website and use this because I would think that it was a sham. There's literally thousands of credit restoration companies in America. And I'm often asked, well, why don't you have some of your competing companies uh, on your show? I don't have a problem with that. Uh, if you're involved in the credit restoration business, or if you have a business that can benefit or add something positive to you and your credit, I like to personally invite you to come and be on the show so that you can let people know what your product is and who you are and how you can help them. Now, let me just say this. One of the reasons I've been very hesitant about inviting people on the show is because I don't want anybody to be taken advantage of. And so if you don't have your game together, if your game's not tight, if you can't, if I Google you and your information's not creditable, you're not getting on you and your credit. If you go to youandyourcredit.com, every product that's on our website has a evaluation from the Better Business Bureau. They all have Better Business Bureau stickers. So they've been through the Better Business Bureau. They've been evaluated by Yelp and Google, and we want to make sure that anything associated with this show is positive. We want to make sure that we protect our society because people have been taken advantage of in so many ways. I was just telling a story recently about guys that I knew that would tell people that they knew how to improve their credit and take their money, and then they didn't know what they was what they were doing. They was taking people's money and not giving them anything in exchange for it. Are they willing to come on and provide a copy of their TransUnion report, which has almost nothing on it? This report has more advertisement and information. It says summary rights, information concerning your TransUnion report. Now, the biggest problem I have with most people is that when they're in the credit restoration program, I always tell my clients, look, when you get your report back, please bring it to me so I can go over it with you, so I can give you a lesson on how to read it. Because we become intimidated and we won't even open the envelope and we don't know what's on the report. So because we don't know what's on the report or whether or not information has been deleted or updated by the credit bureaus, now we think we have a product that's not working for us. But then at some point, you may go in and try to buy something, and then you say, "Oh, my credit score jumped 100 points, or my credit score jumped 200 points." I've had people that have had crazy numbers going from. I had one lady go from a 400 beacon score to 660 in less than 60 days. My head did this. I couldn't believe it. Hey, all you have to do is try. Nothing beats a failure but a try. If you don't try, then you can't succeed. If you do nothing, then nothing will change. Uh, in my conversation with one of my clients earlier, and she was telling me that she's going to be going to the seminar on buying a house. I believe it's this weekend. And she tells me, she says, uh, her credit score is a 700. So I said, well, that's a great score. She says, yeah, but there's four different things on there that uh, are still there. And so in my conversation with her, I said, well, let me just share this with you. And this is one thing people don't realize. When you're trying to buy or purchase a home, a lender wants you not to have outstanding negative debt. So what happens is when you apply to now there's some secondary lenders that are in the home mortgage business that don't, that may or may not care, but their interest rates are going to be higher, which makes it more difficult for you to maintain or keep the house that you're purchasing. But if you're trying to get sub 4% interest rate, then you might want to listen and take advantage of the information that's being provided for you, because what happens is when you have a sub 400 interest rate, your notes are going to be a lot cheaper. If you're sitting at home right now and you own a house and you're paying 6%, 7%, 8% in some cases on your interest rates for your home mortgage, man, you're missing the boat. And you don't know if this opportunity is going to remain much longer. But right now, I know lots of people that are getting sub 4% interest rates, and it's making it a lot easier for them to maintain their homes, because when you buy a house, not only do you have to make that mortgage payment, you also have to pay for homeowners insurance and flood insurance and the upkeep of the home, and might want to have a gardener come out and cut your grass. When you have all these things that's got to be considered, you've got to do what it takes to reduce all your obligations so that it makes it easier for you to afford this palace that you want to live in, and provide for yourself and your children. If you don't, then it'll make it more difficult, because your obligations will be artificially increased based on those interest rates. It's like, uh, I work in the car business, uh, 6 days a week over at Toyota, and a lot of people that come in and they have low credit scores, and so the banks will say, "Hey, we'll give them a loan, but it's going to be 18 to 24%, 26%." Now imagine how different that is, how far that bridge is from 0% to 26%, or 24% to 18%. Imagine. I have a number of people that have bought vehicles that a lot of people would be happy to be at a sub $200 a month note plus their insurance. Most people can afford that. But if or $300 a month note, depending on the car, the price of the car, and how much you're financing. But if when you go out and you artificially uh, get approved, and then the bank charges you high interest rates, then they charges you discount points, it makes it more difficult for you to maintain that automobile. So a lot of times people will call me or come by to see me, and they'll say, well, I need a car. Okay, good. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get a car. What kind of car do you want? Well, I had a lady recently who wanted a $30 to $40,000 truck. And I'm like, well, you're in you're in bankruptcy and you want a $40,000 truck. Your credit score is low. You have to get an approval from your uh, from the court to make this purchase, and the court's probably not going to do that. Why don't you get out of bankruptcy first? Before you make a $40,000, $30,000 purchase. Why not purchase something at 15, 10 to 15,000 or less, sub $20,000 that you can easily afford while you go through this difficult time because we got to have transportation. And then once you've restructured your finances, you can always come back and get the nicer vehicle that you inspire to have. Well, it's time for our second break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. Hey, go to my website, youandyourcredit.com. We'll be right back.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hello and congratulations! You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden.
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
You can have whatever you like with a great credit score. Man, it's Monday. I tell you the truth. I'm so excited for a new opportunity, a new business week. What are you doing today? Are you doing anything different this week from last week that you didn't do last week? Have you been contemplating? Have you been thinking about changing your financial life? Have you been thinking about making a decision that's going to put you in a position where you can get the car that you want, or you can get the house that you want? Everything starts today. Hey, my mom used to say, nothing beats a failure but a try, and everybody says, never put off today, never put off till tomorrow what you can do today. If you can start your credit restoration program today, why don't you? Why not go to youandyourcredit.com or youandyourcredit.us, press the red button that says improve your credit. Or there's a green button that says contact me. If you want to contact me, put your information on there, on the website. It comes to me. I'll be able to look it over. When I contact you, I'll be in a position to have an actual conversation with you. Last week, I had a guy who lived in Austin, Texas, who called me. He says, I've been watching your show. I love it. I've been watching your show for months. I just thought I'd reach out to you. And he said, is this Remus Bowman with You and Your Credit? on YouTube. I said, yeah, this is Remus Bowman. This is how can I help you? He says, man, I love your show. If you have been watching this show, we'd like to know. We'd like to, get your comments. We'd also like to prepare ourselves to do a free credit training seminar. I know that there's seminars coming up right now. People are thinking about buying homes, but there are things that I can tell you, things that you might need that you may be able to benefit from me, that you may not be able to benefit from others. uh, Not everybody's going to tell you. Not everybody has this information available to them, and so we all see things from different perspectives. So I would like to invite you to go to youandyourcredit.com and press the green button, and it says "Contact Me," and fill out your information. I will call you, and we'll answer your questions. I realize that a lot of people don't want to talk on the air. They don't want their voices. They don't want people to recognize them. Well, I got news for you. I can help you. I've helped hundreds of people. We help people all the time. And it's time for you to change your financial situation by getting a good credit score, because you never really know what's all kinds of negative. I always say bad things happen to good people. I've had so many instances where people have been victimized by just being a part of society. Think about it. Can you think about, wrap your arms around this? This is a hell of a thought. You got a nice car sitting in front of you in your driveway or sitting in front of your job. You're making those payments on that car every month. But you just bought the car a few months ago. You had the car, let's say, less than 2 or 3 years. So your balances on your car note versus what the value of your vehicle is pretty similar. So you really don't have any equity. Now you may have equity in your car if you placed a nice down payment, but more often than not, most people don't have any equity. And so what happens is some crazy guy or drunk who's driving on the street runs into you, or your car is sitting on the side of the road, and somebody just runs into your car, and you're not even in the car. Somebody wrecks your car. So the insurance company comes out. They do an appraisal on your car. You owe $10,000 or $12,000 or whatever the amount is, and the insurance company wants to give you the value of your car. Now, here's the problem. The problem is you already knew that you had a low credit score. You already knew that your credit score was low and that by the grace of God you had this automobile and that you were struggling to make those payments and, everything was tight. You already knew that. So you could not afford for anything bad to happen in your life. You couldn't afford it for anything bad to happen in your life. If you couldn't afford for anything bad to happen in your life and something did, then where are you going to be? The insurance company is only going to pay the value of your car. You owe this amount on this car. You have no money available to put down on a new car if God forbid something happens. And here you are with a bad credit score. I remember 2 plus years ago, one of my good friends, matter of fact, she's still in my credit restoration program today because she likes to protect herself, man. After what she went through, she she wants to monitor her credit. I'm going to have to call her and tell her, hey, look, you can get out of the program now and just go into LifeLock or one of the other programs that are less expensive because, we want to keep you in our system, but we can reduce your price that you're paying every month. But anyway, I can remember riding in the car with this lady out in New Orleans East sometime back. And She started crying on the demo drive. And she said, Mr. Remus, can you please help me get a new car? I don't have any money to put down. And somebody has demolished my car. I'm in this rental. How do I get out of this situation? I'm giving you the roadmap. I'm giving you the map to success. How do you avoid being in a situation when somebody has demolished your vehicle, you don't have any money available, but you got a low credit score? You don't. It doesn't have to happen that way. You could keep it moving. Do like most people do. Do like a lot of people do. Hey, they take that loss. They walk into a new dealership. Say, man, I've been thinking about getting a new car anyway. Let me get this one. Let me try this on. Prior planning prevents poor performance. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. You will fail. Today is the right day for you to make a decision to change everything about your finances. You can start now. I promise you. Look, a number of years ago, I was forced, literally forced, into a situation where I had to make a change. I had to make several changes. So if I can change, you can change. You know, my buddies are on me all the time now about, I don't like to drink a lot of water. Now every time you see me, I got a bottle of water in my hand. Hey, we got to make changes for the good. They say that eating a lot of red meat creates problem with your prostate. So guess what? I stopped eating. I don't eat red meat. I'm not saying it's not good. I love a steak. I used to, man. There was a time we used to have a boat in New Orleans East called the Stars and Stripes, and they had a steak there called a porterhouse. About once or twice a month, man, I go get that big fat steak and I chow down. But we can't do that anymore because it's a well-known fact that, especially a person at my age and in my position, we have problems with things staying in our colons and our systems that create problems for us that we can't overcome. This is your opportunity to overcome a problem that you already know exists. There's so many different credit bureaus that are available to you now. Let me say this: if you do using Credit Karma, they'll give you a score, but those scores are what's known as Vanguard scores, so they're not true credit scores. They're similar, but if you go to Credit Karma, they're going to tell you pretty much what's on your credit report for two of the reporting agencies, not all three. But the point that I'm trying to make is, hey, it's out there. You don't have to spend any money to get this information. If you have a problem with your credit, go to youandyourcredit.com, press the red button, improve your credit. If you don't know if it's the right thing for you, press the green button. Contact me. If you have questions about some of our products and you like to ask questions, press the button. We're going to contact you back. Just send the information. Let me just go back and we'll talk about credit just a minute ago because I want to talk about, give a little credit class real quick for those people who don't know what are the criterias to develop your credit score. What's affecting your credit score? What determines your credit score? The biggest thing on your credit report that determines your credit score is what's known as payment history. So if you have a number of accounts on your credit report and you've missed a lot of payments, then you know that adverse payment history is going to adversely affect your credit score. Now, if you try youandyourcredit.com, enroll in our program, we may be able to get a number of your existing and former debt, the people that you have that you're associated with, that you owe money to update, do what's known as a courtesy update to your credit report to remove some of the negative payments that you have missed. You never really know. Do nothing, nothing changes. But we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen many times. I had a guy that I work with. He makes very good money. Came to me and says, Remus, he says, man, I want to get this. I want my credit score to be perfect. This is the biggest thing. Because I do this credit show and because I'm always talking about credit, people will come to me and a lot of people that I associate with all have a certain amount of pride about their credit scores now, because they're around a guy or around someone who answers their questions for them, and so they take pride in being able to say, "Man, I'm a 700. I want to go to 850. How do I do that?" Well, okay, let's figure it out. So anyway, this guy calls me. He says, "Man," he says, "about 2 or 3 years ago, I missed a payment, and I got this one payment over 30 days on an automobile loan from some years back, but I still have an account with the company. I haven't paid out the vehicle completely. Then what do I do?" That's an easy one. And you're currently current on your credit on your automobile loan. You're still doing business with that company. Why don't you give them a call and ask for a courtesy update? A lot of times they'll do it. You never know. If you put it in writing, it may, if you go through you and your credit and you press the red button, you never know. We may be able to get that removed for you. These things affect your lives. We've helped people to go from 650 to 800. If you only knew the positive effect this could have on your life as far as the next loan that you require or you request. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go out and make loans. I'm telling everybody to be responsible with the loans that you make. But if you need a little help, I'm here to help. YouandYourCredit.com, YouandYourCredit.us. We're available for you. I promise you, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And if you go to the website, press the green button, you can send me a request for information, and I promise you, I'll call you back. Either I'll call you back or someone associated with the show will call you back. But if you need to talk to me, I'm here to answer your questions. I promise you, we will answer your questions for you. YouandYourCredit.com. 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 You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Oh, by the way, on the lady with the 700 Beacon score, she told me she had 4 accounts that were adverse on her credit report. More than likely, a lender will make her a loan, but they will condition the loan that she will have to do something about those 4 open negative accounts to zero them out. So as a result, you can call me, I can get them removed, and then you won't have to fight that battle. Save your money, get lower interest rates. It's YouandYourCredit.com. Their length of time and credit, amount owed, new credit, and the type of credit that you have. It's YouandYourCredit.com, YouandYourCredit.us. Thank you. You have a great day. And today is the day that you need to make a change. Make the change. Improve your credit today. Start now. Press the red button. YouandYourCredit.com, YouandYourCredit.us. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. Thank you for joining me. Oh, by the way, we're also on Facebook today on my website, You and Your Credit. If you got any questions, tag me. Let me know how I can help you. Remus Bowman on the New Orleans Talk Network.